Hello everybody, it's Rachel here at Clardy Hands Crafts. Today I'm going to be showing you my process for making a flip out tracing paper pocket. Actually, it turns out to be 3 pockets with this method. You don't have to use tracing paper to get a similar result. You could try cereal box liners or vellum instead. First, I'm creating a pocket using a decorative design paper from a long forgotten scrapbooking pad. I wanted the entrance to this pocket to be roughly torn, so I made it a side loading pocket in the same height as the page, which was 21 centimetres in this case, and I just guessed at the width by making it about half the width of the page itself. As always, I inked all of the edges of the pocket using Vintage Photo from Tim Holtz. I keep meaning to use a darker ink such as walnut stain for this journal as I want to make it grungy, but I keep forgetting to do it. I've only made 3 pages for it so far, so perhaps I can change over to using the darker shade without it looking too odd. I used my art glitter glue to stick this pocket into place, applying it to the top edge, the bottom edge and the side that I wanted to keep sealed. I then measured by eye the height of the tracing paper. I wanted it to be about 1/4 of an inch shorter than the decorative pocket, so I cut it to the right height first. I then worked out where I wanted the entrance to the tracing paper overlay pocket to be and held it down. I then folded the opposite edge in to meet the edge of the journal page. Because we're using tracing paper, it's easy to see. I creased the fold and then used the folded in edge as a guide to mark where the overlay pocket would finish with a crease. So I ended up with an asymmetric kind of pamphlet fold. If I had wanted to make this a top load and flip out pocket, I could have glued it together at this stage at the bottom and left hand edge, but I remembered that I wanted the pocket to be side loading, and this meant that I needed to open the right hand folded edge by trimming off the fold itself. I glued the pocket together at the top, bottom and left edge, keeping the glue line as narrow as possible to make sure that it's easier to cover later on. To make sure it's obvious where the entrance of the pockets are, I used a circle punch to clip out some notches. So I did that for the overlay pocket and for the flip out pocket. Once all of the glue was dry, I inked around the edges of this as well, making sure to get in all of the creases and folds and edges. Before sticking anything down, I took the tracing paper pockets to the sewing machine and used a zigzag stitch to make a standout border around the edges. I was careful not to stitch down the fold line because I wanted to keep the fold crisp and easy to bend, and that's why I did a column of stitching on either side of it instead. After that, I was able to stick down the overlay pocket, which would anchor the flip out pocket as well. I added the glue to the stitched areas so that it wouldn't show through the tracing paper. Once that was stuck down, all that was left to do was to fill the pockets with journal cards and tags. So I made them to fit so that they would be the right kind of shape and size to fit neatly inside of these pockets. If you're interested, the tracing paper that I used was 90 GSM, and I'm finding it really useful for all of these different projects. And it's nice and sheer, but it's really thick and easy to work with as well. I sometimes find that tracing paper can be a bit light and kind of waft around and make all kinds of mistakes just from being too light. So this is really easy to use. So with my journal cards, I backed them on some plain tea stained paper, because I don't like the backing image of those, so I wanted to cover it up. So I stuck those down and then just cut them out with a pair of scissors and used my corner rounder to clip the edges, to clip the corners rather. I made a little tab pull using a piece of lace that was in my stash, and I just wanted to have that poking out of the edge of the pocket so that it was easy to grab. So I just cut that down and made a kind of ruffle, stuck that down. With being able to see through the pocket, I wanted to make something a bit more decorative. So as you can see here, it looks quite plain, so I decided to decorate that with an image from one of my scrapbooking papers. So I just cut one of these flowers out using a pair of scissors, fussy cut it out and then stuck it on. I realised that I could make this into a pocket as well, so once I cut it neatly, I just glued 2 edges of it and then it kind of made a little tuck spot. So as you can see, that makes the card a bit more decorative, and when it shows through, it looks like it's supposed to be there as a feature of the paper. So then I just needed something to go in the overlay pocket, which I chose this journal card, and then something in the back pocket as well. I found that tag with the Hessian print, which was just in my stash, and then I made it a quick little journal card to go in with it, because I didn't like there being that big space at the bottom with nothing in. So that's everything for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again next time for another video. Bye!